Good morning. Glad to have you guys here this morning. Thank you for being here as we get ready to kick off the biggest weekend in Western sports for the entire year. It's turned into a huge weekend, not only for all of us as fans of rodeo, but for the entire Western industry. And we are certainly glad to have you guys be here and be a huge part of it. This weekend kicks off with one of the PBR's biggest events of the season. It is our second PBR major of the 2016 year. It is the Choctaw Casino Resort Iron Cowboy, presented by Kawasaki. And to talk a little bit more about the format and to talk a little bit more about the prestige that goes along with this event on a Saturday night, I'd like to welcome to the stage the CEO of the Professional Bull Riders, Mr. Shawn Gleason.
Thanks, Matt. Welcome, everybody, to Arlington, Texas. As Matt said, this is the second major of the year, and I think it's important to understand a little bit of where we come from. In 1992, 20 bull riders set out to improve their own fortunes, but they were also most interested in really leaving the world of Western lifestyle sports in a better place. And that journey has brought us here today to the largest sports arena in the world. We have 300 events in 5 countries around the world, 14 broadcasts on CBS Network, and 36 cable broadcasts on CBS Sports Network. A bull rider was the subject last year of Nicholas Sparks' best-selling book and subsequent movie, The Longest Ride. And in May of last year, PBR was acquired by WME-IMG, the most innovative sports and entertainment company in the world. So the journey that the founders set out on has been a great ride for a lot of people associated with the sport. I don't think those guys expected that of the PBR 4 majors, one of them would be held here in AT&T Stadium, the mecca of sports in the world, and that it would be our 7th year of holding this event. I don't think they anticipated that we would partner with friend and longtime associate Mr. Randy Bernard to create the American, the largest rodeo in the rodeo world. We also, that has led to some extensions. PBR is proud to announce that we are conducting our second PBR and rodeo event at the 3rd major of the year. The Last Cowboy Standing, an event we've held in Vegas for a number of years, has partnered up with Eldorado Days, and we're actually going to produce the Eldorado Days Rodeo. A rodeo that's been around since 1934, so we're extremely excited about that. And that event joins the PBR World Finals in Las Vegas, which is moving to the new Las Vegas Arena, Toshiba Arena, in November 2nd through the 6th this year. The ride continues. So far this year, PBR is up 35% year to date in our network broadcast. We've beat most major sports every weekend that we've had a broadcast. That includes NCAA 2A basketball, X Games, golf, NHL. Our ratings are phenomenal, and the work that we've been doing for years is starting to pay off with a much broader audience that's tuning in and engaging with the sport. We've set 4 out of 7 attendance records so far this year on our way to Arlington here. So we're having a great year, and that's become the norm. We expect a lot more as we continue to move forward. So we're very excited about the growth of the PBR. The founders of the PBR, though, they couldn't imagine some of the success that we're having today in the business world, but they did believe that they could leave the sport in a better place for the athletes that came behind them, and that those athletes could conduct themselves as professional athletes and earn a living doing what they not only love, but what they're the best in the world at. PBR to date has paid out over $150 million to bull riders since the inception of our business. 28 bull riders have made over $1 million in prize money alone through the course of our history. 10 of them have earned over $2.5 million, and 3 of them have earned over $5 million, one of whom is sitting on the stage with us today. When J.B. Mooney, when the PBR was founded, J.B. Mooney was 5 years old in North Carolina. He's approaching and probably will eclipse either this week, the next, $7 million in career earnings, which not only makes him the richest athlete in Western lifestyle history, but it also means that he's earned several million more dollars than the founders of the PBR, who is a great business story, but cashed in their investment for millions of dollars along the way. But that's a testament to what the founders of the PBR were after, is to leave the sport in a better place. And a kid that was 5 years old when those guys set out on their dream is about to eclipse the $7 million mark in career earnings. It's a great accomplishment. The founding of the PBR and all the things that we've accomplished led us to this event and our partnership with the American, which it turned out to be a great partnership for the Western lifestyle world. Randy's going to tell you a lot more about the American, but it's a great weekend for us to have a PBR major here, to have the American here as a partner in this event for arguably the greatest Western lifestyle event in the history of the sport. So with no further ado, I'll let Mr. West introduce Randy Bernard. Thank you.
Thanks, Shawn. Shawn touched a little bit on the growth of our sport and the growth of our industry over the past 20 some odd years. You know, the PBR started back in the early 90s, and over time we've continued to watch the sport develop and grow, but not only just the sport, but the brand of the PBR. And all of us, the PBR family, are extremely excited about the continued growth and the future of our brand of the PBR in its 20-some year existence. With that, we turn our attention over to the rodeo side of things on Sunday afternoon. And put this in your brain for a minute and just let this set there. In 3 short years, the brand that has become RFD-TV's The American, presented by Polaris Ranger, has already become one of the absolute iconic brands in our industry. It is a brand that everybody recognizes, even outside of our sport of rodeo. They recognize The American. They put it with the PBR event, and they put it with AT&T Stadium. So without further ado, I'd like to bring up Mr. Randy Bernard. Randy?
Thank you. First, I want to thank the PBR for allowing us to come in on top of their event and partner with them and have the American. Might as well start with a little controversy. This last week there was a little controversy about why we picked the PBR bull riders. The American has always been about bringing the very best in the world. We are not going to run away from that. We're not going to shy down from that. The top 10 cowboys in the world in the bull riding come from the PBR, period. I mean, when you go through numbers and you look at 28 millionaires, you look at 10 guys over $2.5 million, and JB sitting here going to win $7 million, and the amount of exposure that these guys get, there's a reason. They ride the best bulls in the world, and this is what the PBR was established for. If you want to be the best bull riders in the world, go to the PBR. And I believe in that, and that's why we bring them here. We do have qualifying system. If you want to go to any other bull rider in the world has the opportunity to go to a qualifier and earn their way, just like every other event has that chance. So I just want to thank the PBR. They do an outstanding job of showcasing the Western lifestyle all over the world, not just America now. With that, let's talk about some storylines that we have coming into this. You know, one of the great things about the American was it wasn't only about bringing the top cowboys in the world, that invitational side of it, but it was also about saying, okay, there's so many of you out there in America or around the world that believe that you can beat these guys on any given day. So we said, here's your opportunity. Go out to one of our qualifiers, compete, and we'll bring the top 10 of each one of our qualifiers to the semifinals, and then out of that, the top 5 will get to advance on to the American. If you get to compete at the RFD American presented by Polaris Ranger, you actually, and you win your event, you get to win $1 million. If 2 cowboys from 2 different events win, they would share that, of course. And we've seen the last couple years, one of our, we got Richie Champion and Taylor Price as 2 of the greats that came out of the bareback that have shown that it's possible for someone to come through the qualifying system and win $1 million. So to me, the underdog is such an important part of this event, and it's the only event in rodeo that really caters and creates these underdogs in a way that they get to compete against the very best in the world. And you have Mary Smothers this year, 69-year-old grandma. They call her Nana. She made it. I mean, that's a remarkable story. It's not easy to get through the qualifiers. 4,000 qualifiers, 4,000 cowboys and cowgirls entered those qualifiers. So it's a hard road to get all the way here. We had a 13-year-old. And then we just, the Triple Crown to me, on the other side, was great. We've had three people win this event twice in the last 2 years. One of them sits right up here, Wade Sundell. And then we have Lisa Lockhart and Caleb Driggers. If they can win the third one, win that Triple Crown, they're entitled to their piece of that $1 million. And the reason we did this was because it's a great storyline. To come in here and to do this 3 times is not going to be easy. And we thought this is something that we can build awareness of these 3 great champions, and they deserve it. The other storyline I want to talk about, and that is the ERA. Some of you might not know of it. Some of you might. A bunch of the great Cowboys broke away and wanted to create a sport within the sport, their own sanction body that was going to make the sport better by allowing them to go to less events, but you, as fans, would be guaranteed to see the very best cowboys and cowgirls in the world. What's happened is there was a lawsuit that basically said that they can't go to PRC rodeos if they're an owner or director in the ERA, and these guys have been sitting home. They weren't able to go to San Antonio. They weren't able to go to Fort Worth. They weren't able to go to San Angelo. But they're going to be here at the American. And I think one of the biggest storylines coming into this weekend is how hungry these guys are going to be. We're talking about the very best in the world. And I think that when you see they're going to turn it up this weekend. And any of those qualifiers that think they're just going to come here and win that $1 million, I promise you, in my opinion, they've got to go through the ERA. The ERA Cowboys are going to be the toughest part to get through. And I know Luke will probably talk a little bit about it here in a minute, but that's, to me, going to be one of the biggest stories out there. I want to thank Chris Voigtman from Polaris Ranger for being here, and I think Emily's here. They've been an incredible partner for us. And when we set out to do this, I mean, when we said we're going to put $2 million, it takes a huge sponsor to jump in and make this happen. Without them and all of our other sponsors, there's no way we could make it happen. I think the thing that they loved the most about the American was the fact that there was the underdog. They love that storyline, how anyone from any ranch or any sector of life can come and compete and make it. And the other thing they love is the farmers and ranchers. It gives them a unique opportunity to really get out there and promote in a world that they don't get to see every day. So I want to thank you very much for your support and just thank all of you for being here, and I look forward to an incredible American this year. So thank you.
Talked a little bit this morning about the partnerships that we have with sponsors, obviously with the media, with the PBR and RFD-TV's The American. A lot of other partners helped make this road to the American and the road to AT&T Stadium, made it all possible. Outside bodies that governed over sanctioned events, our qualifiers, and it made the road to the American what it is, and it made the possibility and the opportunity available for those 13-year-old young ladies, for the grandmothers, for the folks that had retired or semi-retired to still come to a venue like this and compete not only for the magnitude of money that is available here on Sunday afternoon, when you look at the $2 million rodeo in one afternoon, but a vast amount of prizes, as you can see around the room here this morning, and talk a little bit more about the road to the American, the folks that made it all possible, and the things that these guys and gals will look forward to taking home when they win the American. I'd like to bring up Mr. Riley Lambert and Mr. Shawn Cassidy at this time.
How are y'all doing? Just to echo a little bit of what Randy said, and to show the unique level that the American brings to the sport of rodeo, this is the only rodeo that there is where you get to see the best contestants across the board in every criteria. We're associated with the PBR, again echoing Randy, where the best bull riders in the world are, and then we have these elite contestants that are top 10 competitors in the sport over the course of the year, and that's across all criteria. I do want to give a shout out to the staff. We have a great staff here, and everyone pulls their weight, and I think they deserve to be mentioned. But the people that make this event a success are the sanctioning bodies, PBR, Better Barrel Races, United States Team Roping Championships, Ultimate Calf Roping. Three Hills Rodeo came in and helped us out with their World's Toughest Events this year for the rough stock side of things. And then all the independent steer wrestling producers across the nation that stepped up and helped produce the qualifiers that we put on. Other than that, I'm not going to go into much detail. I'll let Shawn step in, tell everyone about the great sponsors that we have and the great prize packages that we have for the winners.
Thanks, Riley. As Randy and Riley said, we do have the best athletes going in the business here this weekend, and we also have the greatest sponsors going this weekend. We are very privileged to work with some great folks. As you guys look around the room at the tables and display, these are some of the great merchandise items that our great sponsors have provided to these champions this weekend, as well as all the qualifiers. If we start to our right, Gist Buckles, our official buckle sponsor this year, provided us with the most beautiful buckle with over $22,000 worth of merchandising in each one of those units. Each one of these athletes that win this weekend will take home a prize package of over $30,000. So directly next to them are folks at Browning with the Grand Lightning Satori's, Resist All hats. Each contestant that is competing here this weekend will receive a 100X hat courtesy of Resist All. Ariat boots right behind you. Each contestant will be provided with a custom pair of boots from Ariat. Our friends at Cinch, each one of those contestants will also receive a full clothing outfit. Yeti coolers. Each one of our winners will take home a brand new Yeti cooler. Cactus saddlery, as you see here in front. Each one of those champions this weekend will take home a custom cactus saddle. As I say, I'm very privileged to work with these folks on a daily basis, and I thank them for all their support of the American. We could not do it without you. Thank you very much. Please give them a hand.
All right, I'm going to reiterate something that everybody on the stage has said today. Truly believe we will see the best cowboys and cowgirls in Western sports here this weekend. Again, it all starts with a PBR on Saturday night, so I'd like to introduce to you three of the best bull riders in the world. I'll start down on the far end. Young man, PBR World Finals qualifier that will compete this weekend in his home state of Texas. From Dalhart, Texas, Mr. Stormy Wing. Next to him is a young man that came into Las Vegas last year, his very first World Finals, and left there a whole lot richer. Won his very first PBR World Finals event. Another young man that will compete this weekend in front of his home state from Jasper, Texas, Mr. Cooper Davis. The gentleman next to him, as Shawn told you, was 5 years old when the PBR started. Since then, 2006 PBR Rookie of the Year. He's won the World Finals. He has 2 world titles. And, well, he's the world #1 right now coming into this weekend, Mr. J.B. Mooney. Start down here with the American on Sunday afternoon. We'll go to the far end, and a gentleman who has an opportunity, an awesome opportunity, I feel, and a race that we're going to be excited to watch, to overtake Trevor Brazil this year as the all-around champion at the American. He is a 2-time competitor here at RFD-TV's The American from Nebraska, Mr. Stephen Dent. A 5-time world champion steer wrestler, and a man who will talk a little bit about the ERA here in just a couple of moments. Got a lot of booty shaking over his career, and I expect a big booty shaking in a big building like AT&T Stadium, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Luke Branquino. And we touched on the Triple Crown opportunity for a guy that and I'm sure all of you enjoy watching the sport of rodeo. You can't enjoy rodeo without watching the saddle bronc riding, and you can't think saddle bronc riding without thinking about how much fun this guy is to watch, Mr. Wade Sundell. Start down on the far end, Stormy. Stormy, it has been an up and down season for you this year. Coming into an event like this, and you look at the magnitude not only of the venue, but the opportunity to take home $100,000 on Saturday in front of your home state. Now, I'm going to point out the left eye. Last weekend when we were in Kansas City, right? Yeah, Kansas City. Took a shot, walked out of there like it was nobody's business. I preach every weekend that these rodeo cowboys and cowgirls, especially our guys, the toughest athletes on the planet. You're going to come in here this weekend, act like nothing happened last week in front of the home state. How big of a game changer can this weekend be for you, not only this year, but for your entire career?
Oh, it could, it means the world to make it first at this kind of venue and stuff like that. But $100,000 plus a $25,000 bonus pool, $125,000 up for grabs. Coming here and winning, it, be a big turnaround. Start a good roll.
$145,000, pays $4,000 to win each round. So there you go. There's a lot of money. You touched on a bonus bull in round number 3. The World Champion Bull Asteroid will be here in competition on Saturday evening, and one individual in that third round will have an opportunity, an extra $25,000. Speaking of big money, the man next to you, Stormy, again will compete here in his home state. Cooper Davis. Cooper, last season you made your debut on the Bill Ford Tough Series. You qualified to your very first PBR World Finals. Now, we've talked so much on our television product in the arena about the way that you looked at the World Finals. You dropped 30 pounds, and looking at you, you're obviously not a big guy. You weren't a big guy then, but you took the intestinal fortitude to get in the gym, to change your regimen. You went into Las Vegas with a renewed confidence. Now, after winning an event like that, does it change your confidence level coming in here and again in front of the home state with a lot of friends and family watching at AT&T Stadium?
Yeah, I think it definitely, gives you a boost in confidence. And when you go to a venue like that and get to come to your home state, you really want to do good in front of everybody. So to go out there and do good, I feel great coming into here and to have a shot at $100,000 plus that $25,000 bonus pool, and then to be paired up with the American and have another shot at another $100,000. It just doesn't get any better than that.
JB, there's a possibility with 5 rounds on the Iron Cowboy on Saturday night, and then another potential 2 rounds on Sunday afternoon. You could possibly get on 7 bulls back-to-back in 2 days. Do you change your game plan coming in here? How does JB look at a weekend like this?
When you come into a weekend like this, especially the Iron Cowboy, that's pretty much where you separate the men from the boys. It's not just getting on 1 or 2 bulls in one night. You're getting on, you win this deal, you're probably going to get on 4 or 5 of the rankest bulls in the world. So that really slices the bread right there. And, I don't look at it any different. I look at each bull in each round like a separate bull riding. You don't look at what's going to happen Sunday or what's going to happen in the second round. You just look at the first bull you got and go at him.
I'm going to throw a little curveball at you. Shawn keeps talking about $7 million and possibly crossing over that $7 million. Do you know the exact total right now, Shawn? It's $6.95 million. $6.95 million. So you could cross over the $7 million mark here this weekend. What I want to talk about is the $8 million mark that could be crossed over in October. Is there another world title in your future?
Well, that's a plan every year, is win a world title, and right now I'm sitting pretty good. All I got to do is just keep doing my job. But that $7 million mark, I need to check my bank account because I'm pretty sure somebody forgot to pay me.
Keep your hands shut this weekend. Let's go. Let's toss the mic down to the opposite end. And I'll start with you, Steven. Steven qualified 2 events here. No stranger to either of those events, but a lot of the talk is going to be your opportunity now to come in here and become the all-around champ. Do you look at that any different? I mean, is there added pressure on you, or do you even think about that, or you just come in and get on 1 horse at a time?
Yeah, I got to just get on 1 horse at a time. It really doesn't do any good to look at that, because if I don't win any money, I don't win the all-around. So the only way to win money is to win in the individual events, and I've been doing it my whole life and whole career, and I'm ready.
How good is it to have your family here at a building like this, a weekend like this, to be able to have them here with you?
Yeah, it's great. This is kind of one of my 25 rodeos of the year, so it's awesome to be able to bring them along with us, and great venue like this, great event like this. Without all the sponsors and Randy's dream of doing this, it wouldn't be possible. So we really appreciate it from the rodeo world.
And I appreciate the segue leading into Luke Branquino. You talk about the shorter schedule. All right, Luke, let's get down to it. It is obviously not going to be the long, hard road that it has been in years past for a lot of you guys. Now you have a weekend like this, $100,000 to win your event. Kind of all your eggs are in one basket now. How big is this weekend for you guys?
Oh, well, it's huge. You know, like Randy said earlier, the ERA guys are hungry. You know, I haven't got to run a competition steer since February 3rd, I'm sorry. So, you know, everybody's wanting to get out there and compete with such a great event, a great venue with all the money added. These guys are going to be coming into here, you know, like it's fresh meat, and the Wolfpack's been hunting for a while. So I'm excited to see all the ERA guys come and, you know, give it their best, and I'm looking forward to a strong showing.
Speaking of strong showing, I'm going to ask you a question that I've heard you've been asked a lot watching the Road to the American. Who comes in here this weekend and wins the steer wrestling?
I have been asked that a lot, and I'm going to have to say myself.
Skip the yeah, there you go. That's the answer we're looking for.
You know, there's a lot of great cowboys, great horses. It's going to be a fun event no matter what.
Yeah. You answered it in the beginning. I've heard you 20 times say whoever has the best horse. Well, who has the best horse? Well, you know, so-and-so's got a good horse. That's the answer we wanted. Glad to have you. Look forward to a big weekend for you and all the other ERA Cowboys, like the gentleman sitting to your right, Wade Sundell. Wade, an opportunity, much like a lot of our qualifiers, to come in here now. After winning this event the last 2 seasons, you could be the first Triple Crown winner and have your shot at that $1 million side pot as well. How good do you feel coming into the stadium?
Well, I'm pretty excited. Haven't been on anything in a while, so I had to go get on some practice horses Wednesday just to knock the rust off a little bit. So it'll be good. Come Sunday, it'll be time to put the women and children to bed and go get some dinner.
That leads me to my next question. Sundays are typically not as rowdy as Saturday nights in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. How wild will a Sunday night be if Wade Sundell wins the Triple Crown?
We all come
Are we
out and
opening
find
Six
out.
Flags across the street?
Well, Randy and I, we might open it. No.
There you go.
It'll be awesome.
Folks, I hope you guys are excited about this weekend as all of us are. I'd like to take an opportunity now, if you guys have any questions for the panel up here on either side, the floor is yours. Oh, come on. Is it going to be that easy? Yeah, let's grab you a mic.
Toss that down there.
Thank you. Wade, we just recently saw a video of you riding bulls here recently. Just kind of curious if that's something you're going to go after and make a run at it this year, if you were just trying to fill the gap for the month.
Well, that's all I ever did was rode bulls forever. You know, I just started riding bucking horses in 07, so it's been crossing my mind. You might see me jerk the old bull rope out and go at it a little bit, but we'll see what Sunday brings.
How crazy does the locker room get if Wade starts showing up at bull ridings?
I hope he goes to the bull runs. We'll have a lot more fun.
There you go. Anybody else? I know it's not that easy. Anybody? Okay. Now's your chance. Come on.
JB, I'm Cody Wood with Cowboy Spot. Back right before the PBR finals, we ran a voting contest on who our fans thought was the Mount Rushmore of bull riding. You came in about 9th, and just curious, now that you've got your 2nd world championship under your belt, looking at your 3rd, would you see that you're on that Mount Rushmore of bull riding, and if not, who would be your top 4?
I have no idea. I don't really pay attention to anything like that. I keep it pretty simple. I don't look at points. I don't look at what people say about it. You know, there's haters in everything you do. If you're on TV, it doesn't matter. Any one of these guys sitting up there, there's at least one person out there who's got something bad to say about you. But, you know, I keep it simple. I go do my job, and the rest will take care of itself. If I'm 9th, that's where they think I need to be. But in my mind, I'm not in the same place.
Humble. 2-time champ of the world. I'd like to ask the same question to those 2 guys sitting next to you.
I don't know. I think he's right out there. You know, he's as good as anybody I've ever seen, and to be in his era and have to face someone like that week to week, I can tell you right now, he's a tough guy to beat. I don't know. he's mentally, I think, more prepared to ride any bull than anybody I've ever seen. He's rode every ranked bull in the PBR, and it's the best bulls in the world. So for him I think he's the best bull rider ever.
I would have to agree. Whenever you give the guy an opportunity to come up there and pick his bull, and he picks the rankest one every time, and goes out there and rides him and wins, then who wouldn't? I mean, yeah, enough said.
But is he beatable at the Iron Cowboy for $100,000 Stormy Wing?
I'll go to the neck for $100,000.
There you go. All right. So a little friendly competition in the locker room, just trying to stir the pot a little bit. Golly, I am excited about this weekend. Guys, last chance.
It's a competition all the time. He lives with me now, so
Yeah,
it's day in and day out.
Roommates now, so it's day in and day out. Can you imagine the reality show with those two? Anybody else? Okay, if not, we are going to, once again, thank you guys for being here this morning. I believe they're going to start lunch here in just a couple of moments. Big thanks to all of our sponsors, our partners, and everybody up here on the panel. Again, guys, look forward to the biggest weekend in Western sports here at AT&T Stadium. Saturday night, the Iron Cowboys. Sunday afternoon, RFD-TV is the American. On behalf of Shawn Gleason, Randy Bernard, Sean Cassidy, Riley Lambert, and everybody, the PBR and RFD-TV is the American. Thank you guys this morning for being here, and look forward to a great weekend. Enjoy.